Welcome back to the Jenks Slammer podcast. Today we have a easy episode. We're just giving you the latest NFL news before training camp season starts, because when training camp season starts, there's gonna be plenty of news of that
A
coming
lot of news
around.
pouring in. Yeah.
First things first. Do you guys want to win a jersey? Do you want to win a helmet of your favorite team? Do you think you're good at fantasy football? Do you think you could beat Jenks out in fantasy football? Because we don't think so. So if you're interested, we're trying to do a fantasy football league and be a lot of fun. To enter, you gotta be a subscriber, comment on this video.
Yeah, down below.
And the winner's gonna get whatever you want, really.
I mean, we're thinking we'll do a jersey, like your favorite player or whatever. Either that, if you have too many jerseys, you just want like a little mini helmet, anything,
Mm-hmm.
Obviously not like anything crazy, but we want to do something for the subscribers. We feel like doing a fantasy league where we can engage with you guys, and get that going, where you guys are challenging us to fantasy. We're giving you guys a prize if you beat us. So we thought, what better way to do that during the season?
Yeah, so we were thinking a 12-man league, and if we get more people, then we can do 2 leagues, 3 leagues, whatever. So let's get that going. I know we got a couple people in last video. We got some down in the comments, so let's get some here, and let's get it going.
Let's do it.
Welcome to the Jenks and the Hammer podcast, bringing you the latest NFL news and insights from the perspectives of 2 die-hard fans. So sit back, relax, and get ready for some football talk with Jenks and the Hammer.
Hey, here we go!
All right, guys, getting right into the news segment of the day. We're catching up. The last 2 weeks have been pretty eventful across the NFL. A lot more than the past couple months have been. Pretty dead. Not a lot's been going on. But now we got a bunch of news just kind of dropping all really close to training camp, getting into it. So the first news topic, there's a lot of news this past week with Saquon Barkley. And, he had his franchise tag. He was discussing an extension with the Giants, and he wasn't able to get one done. The Giants wanted him to come down from a number, I believe. There were rumors that they offered him about 13 mil, 14 mil, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That was rumors, though. And then he had tweets going throughout the whole scenario, basically saying, oh, this is not true. This isn't true. This isn't true. He's clearing it up. But then when it came to the bell, came down to the final bell, that deal was not done. Giants fans across the country are in disarray. They're upset, and for good reason. This guy is a guy that's a franchise guy for them, and I think he's worth paying 13 mil. But if he feels like he wants more, there's not much the Giants can do, because running back is a replaceable position. It's the most replaceable position in the league by far, because you can get a guy. The Chiefs are a great example of that. They've had Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They've had, I think it was Damian Williams. Now they have Isaiah Pacheco, none of which were huge star names. Clyde Edwards-Helaire a little bit.
Yeah, but that's different when you have a star QB like Patrick Mahomes. Like the Giants are more reliant on the running game because of Daniel Jones. You know what I mean? Like they don't have that amazing QB to fall back upon.
But to a point, for sure. What you're going at is 100% true. But the thing is with that, you also have to think, these running backs, like no matter the situation, you can replace them. And guys, as long as your O-line is pretty good, there's holes to be ran through, and running backs just need to be able to find that. And if you're able to do that, which most guys are at the NFL level, they can just plug you in. And, I think that's a great example of why this has become this situation at all. If it wasn't a replaceable position, this wouldn't have happened. Saquon would have been paid. The deal would have been done. But I think a lot of it comes down to like the rules. Right now, the rookie contract for running backs is like 3 to 4 years. And that's sort of past their age where guys want to keep running backs paid. Like they don't want to pay a lot of running backs past the age of 26, 27, unless you're top of the line, great running back. So the Giants went out.
Which Saquon definitely is, but he hasn't stayed healthy, right? He's got he's probably the most talented running back in the league, but he just hasn't stayed healthy. And from what I heard too, is with the contract talks that they were only like 1 or 2 like million off, which is surprising, because I think, but I feel like if you're at that point, right? If you're the Giants and you're at that point, like, and you're only like 1 million or 2 off, just pay him. Like, he's the best player on your team. You know what I mean, though? I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's not like, but it's not like they were 5-6 million off. You know what I mean? They were 1 or 2. Just pay him the money.
that's why I am really curious. Like, why didn't this deal get done? Like, what was really the driving factor? I mean, an interesting point that just happened right after the whole situation went down is the Giants went out and signed James Robinson, who's had injury history, and I believe they got him on a low contract, so it wasn't like a big deal. But they're hoping that like this guy comes in, James Robinson, and is a beast like he was for a little bit on the Jaguars, and he went to the Jets and got hurt. But I think
but they're preparing for life without Saquon, right?
Yeah,
and
100%.
You look at the running back market right now, like who's a free agent? I mean, of course you had Dalvin Cook. He's got some other crap going on. We'll get into that a little bit later. Plus, a running back like Dalvin Cook is like Saquon. He's going to want to get paid. So that was never really an option for the Giants. And you look at a guy like James Robinson, who's like done some stuff in this league, right? I mean, isn't the most talented, but he's a decent back. You know what I mean? He's made a name for himself. So they're preparing for life without Saquon. But I feel like this is how it's going to play out. I feel like he's not going to go to training camp, right? No player, if they had the choice, they're not going to training camp, right? They're going to avoid that, right? More summertime, whatever, doing his own workouts, right? So Saquon won't be at training camp. He's not going to report. I have a feeling that after 2-3 weeks in the season, then I think he comes back. Because I think 2-3 weeks into the season, if you're the Giants without Saquon, I think you get off to a slow start. I think you start 1-2, maybe 0-3. I don't 2-2, 1-3, something like that. And I think Saquon then comes back because Saquon's not sitting out the entire year. You're just not, right? If you're him too, like where your career is, you know what I mean? Like especially like him. Like I know, like he's got goals and stuff. You know what I mean? You want to be like a Hall of Famer and you want to do this and that. Like you can't just sit out years, especially these years when you're young. You know what I mean? These are your prime years, right? So I think he's going to come back a month into the season when the Giants are kind of doing shitty. He comes in, you know what I mean? He has a good year.
He proves his value.
Exactly. He's going to prove his value. He's going to raise, the Giants up a little bit. He's going to do his thing. And then at the end of the season, he's going to go back to the Giants and be like, you see what you are without me. You see what you are with me. You know what I mean? Like, pay me. And then they're going to get a contract done. That's how I see this thing playing out. He doesn't come to training camp. He doesn't play week 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it gives him I think he takes like a month off. And then I think he comes in after the Giants get off to a slow start and, proves what he's worth.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, I just think it's so interesting, the whole idea of sitting out. Like he went on a podcast. I'm blanking on what the podcast was called. I think it was something, it has something to do with like money was the topic, or was the title of the podcast. But he went on there and basically said, I don't want to say F you to my teammates. I don't want to hold out and have to do that. But then he said basically he would do that. Like it's getting to that point. So I think he's definitely on the verge of holding out for a few games, like you said. And I think that's the most likely situation. And the Giants kind of screwed themselves in that way. Like, I think that's just what's going to happen. I mean, I think Brian Daboll might have like an idea where he's going with this. Who knows? But I really do think Saquon within the year or
there's no way he sits out for a year.
Yeah,
you
no.
Think so? I don't think he sits out for a year.
I don't think he would. But I mean, what I'm saying is, I think he holds out for a few games, which is like you said, saying F you to his teammates. Like his teammates want him out there. He's not coming.
Not even saying F you to the teammates, but I think he's more saying F you to the organization, right? And here you go. And he's saying, here you go. Like this is the Giants' level of play without me, right? And then I'm going to come in 4 weeks later, and this is how it's going to go. That's what I think.
No, I mean, I agree. But I mean, at some point, you also are kind of saying F you to teammates because like you're not out there to go win them games and be there with them. Like they're putting their bodies out there on the line every game. You're not out there. You're holding out because of your contract. So, I mean, I 100% agree. Like, I think he will hold out. I don't think he wants to do that to his teammates. Like, he's not holding out because he wants to just say screw you to his teammates. But I think that's kind of what might happen. And I think the Giants are preparing in the situation where they aren't able to get a deal done. I think they're going to keep an eye on running backs for the upcoming draft class. They're going to be keeping an eye out on James Robinson, seeing if he produces. And they also have Eric Gray, the rookie from Oklahoma, who's really good. I'm an OU fan. Got to see him whenever I watch an OU game. He's pretty good. All the OU running backs coming out are usually pretty good. I mean, you look at guys like Samaje Perine, Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few, but I mean, I think it's interesting for the Giants, and we'll see what happens this season.
Yeah, should be interesting. All right, so talking about the other New York team, the Jets, they've started practicing, and there's been 2 fights already during camp. One between Michael Clemens and Jeremy Rockert, another one between Jermaine Johnson and Kenny Yaboye. The only name I recognize here is Jermaine Johnson, the first-round pick from a year ago. But other than that, not really. But 2 fights early in training camp. It's not what you love to see. But, just guys out there competing. I think guys are making too big of a deal about it. You know what I mean? Like, Jets, they got a good team. They got a good leader, like coach. You know what I mean? Everything's going to be fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
especially when you got a leader like Aaron. He's going to take them on a team retreat, ayahuasca, and doing something like that.
Tripping a little bit. Yeah. Get their minds right.
Loosen up. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and the interesting, like, this happens at all levels. Like, this happens at high school. This happens at college.
Yeah.
Across all different levels of training camp. When you're first getting with all these guys competing, it's usually that first couple weeks where the tensions boil over. And, if this continues past like a week, maybe 2 weeks into training camp, and that's where it's like, oh, you question it a little bit. You ask, hey, what's going on in the Giants or the Jets organization? But another thing that's great for us as fans, they're on Hard Knocks this year. So we're going to be able to see exactly what's going on. So it's something interesting to watch and keep an eye on for sure.
Yeah, like you said, though, right? It's early and the tension's high because football's back, and everyone's excited and ready to get after it. So is what it is. Nothing to go nuts about.
Yeah. And then the next news topic we have is regarding Dalvin Cook. We mentioned him a little bit ago. John started talking about him. And as a free agent, everything starts coming up. Teams want to know exactly what they're getting and why this guy's been a free agent for so long now, for a few weeks or whatever, as a star running back. You'd think he'd sign pretty quickly to a team where a team goes after him, like that doesn't have a lot of running backs or needs running back depth. You go out there and get a guy like Dalvin Cook. But recently, news came out, and it's purely rumors. It's all alleged. His ex-girlfriend accused him of physical assault, saying that he choked her and basically beat her up. So, this sort of situation never goes. It never goes uninvestigated. Like teams are going to look into this, whether it's true or not, because it is alleged. It's a rumor. If it's not true, then I think if she did actually accuse him, then she needs punished, because that's ridiculous. You can't be doing that to these guys. Like multiple guys have been accused of things that aren't actually happening, and it ruins their career. So for a guy like Dalvin Cook, this is an extremely important situation for it to be handled. And if it is true, then he probably won't see the league again, being realistic. I mean, Ray Rice, we know what happened with him.
He will. He will.
No, I don't know.
Happened to Joe Mixon.
Was it with his girlfriend? I don't know. I don't know the Joe Mixon.
Yeah, if anything, he'll get suspended, but we'll see what happens.
He's 100% suspended. I mean, the whole thing is, I think it limits his market 100%. If this is confirmed, like a lot of teams, just personality wise, they're not allowing that. They're not
unless you're some like win now team or whatever, and I don't know, 100%. Weird organization. Like all I have to worry about, not worry about, but like I'm a Packer fan. The Packers would never sign some like bum like this. You know what I mean? So like whatever. Has nothing to do with me.
I don't know, man. A couple of Packers hit trainers in the past season. I don't know. It's pretty sketchy as well. So
he didn't. He was just
no defending it. No, there's no. It was intentional, John.
It wasn't. It wasn't.
It was.
It was the heat of the moment. He turned around. No. He didn't know who it was. I don't know. It could have been Jared Goff, and I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah. All right.
He's a rookie. Okay. It happens to the best.
No, I don't think the best are shoving trainers, man.
Hey, maybe he stepped on his toes. I don't know. There's more to it. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anyways, what we're saying is like these kind of guys, like they'll get suspended. They might see a little bit of time in the league to a win now team, but it's unlikely. So this is a big deal, and we'll see how it all settles out.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Next news: free agent Marcus Peters is visiting with the. I was going to say Oakland Raiders, but the Las Vegas Raiders. We've said that all along, and the Raiders were a team that that needed a corner. We knew that in free agency, and I don't know if they got anyone in free agency, but
I think they got I don't remember the names, but they got like a couple, but they weren't like any high level. It wasn't like a lot of guys that were high level. It was more
I
depth
think
guys.
we predicted Cam Sutton to the Raiders. He went to the Lions, but this corner for the Steelers. But yeah, Raiders were
I picked
what?
Marcus Peters to the Raiders.
Did you?
Yeah,
I think I went Cam Sutton, but yeah, but Raiders have been a team looking for a corner this offseason, so maybe they find one in Marcus Peters.
Yeah, it's definitely something to look out for, but it's not like he's getting old. He's an older guy. It's like a Patrick Peterson kind of situation.
Not that old, but yeah.
No, I mean, not that old, but it's like that similar thing where it's just like he's going to impact them a little bit more of like a leader to the corners and everything like that, but nothing huge. Next topic, back again with running backs. A lot of running back news today. J.K. Dobbins, who's been dealing with injuries the last few years, was placed on the PUP list, and the Ravens went out and signed Melvin Gordon, which is another interesting topic regarding running back pay, running back replaceability, all of that. Because if Melvin Gordon comes in, he hasn't been too hot the last few years. He started off like from rookie year to I think a few years in the league. He was red hot. He was doing really well, doing great things.
He was with the Chargers.
Yeah, then cooled down the last few years. And, if he comes into the Baltimore and starts off hot, that's one of those things like, oh, J.K. Dobbins, like he's not going to get paid as much as he would if he comes out and doesn't do well, or if J.K. Dobbins comes off and keeps getting injured. So I think that's another interesting situation. Just in general, Melvin Gordon's a good running back or average running back. He had it in his past. Let's see if he can come back, do something special for the Ravens.
Yeah, just adds another big name to that backfield.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're talking about the downfall of the Minnesota Vikings already. It's not even training camp yet. But Thursday morning about 3 a.m., Jordan Addison was caught speeding. He was going 140 in a 55 miles per hour, zone. 55 miles per hour zone. Yeah, just 3 a.m. Thursday morning. He's got, I think, Vikings rookies reported today to camp. It's just like stupid. He wasn't high or he wasn't drunk or anything, but just like that just makes it even stupider too. It's just why? You know what I mean? You're in the NFL.
It's one of those things that's like it's been happening over the last few years, like guys being caught speeding and stuff like that. And I mean, it's not obviously what happened didn't end up being as extreme as the Henry Ruggs situation, but Henry Ruggs just went out doing something dumb. And I mean, he was intoxicated while doing it as well, but he went out just trying to have fun and went speeding and ended up in the death of multiple people. Yeah. So this is that sort of situation where guys need to start learning from this, and other teammates even need to start talking to them like, hey, this is stupid. You're a young guy coming in the league. Don't risk your career like that. Fix it. Be better. Learn from the situation.
Yeah. First round pick, 21 years old. I mean, I don't know. You think you're on top of the world, yeah? You know what I mean? You can do whatever you want, but unnecessary. You don't know your position. You're in the NFL. I mean, you just got to do better. Got to do better.
Fix it and move on. That's all you can. That's all you can do. And he might. I mean, depending on Roger Goodell, he could face a suspension. I don't think so. I don't think he will because he's a young rookie, and like Roger Goodell wants that to be kind of in the league as fast as possible. Like that's a guy that brings attention to the Vikings, and you don't want him. He doesn't want to suspend him like 1 to 2 games just the start of the year just because of the situation. So they're gonna probably fine. He's gonna deal with a fine 100%, but that's how he'll learn his lesson. So jumping into something that's close to me. Like close to location wise, something I've been around for my whole life. The Washington Commanders just got sold to I think Josh Harris and I think Magic Johnson's also a part of the group. Dan Snyder's no longer the owner. The reign of terror is done. And Commanders fans, whatever you want to call them, Washington fans from across the country are just celebrating. It's a new era. It's been terrible under Dan Snyder. They haven't seen any success other than RG3 until he got hurt. RG3 was like a peak moment for them, and then that went down the drain pretty fast. We all know how the rest of the story went. Last few years, they've been nothing but mediocre. I mean, it's really all it's been. And really the center of the team, the center of attention has been Dan Snyder and his wrongdoings under the organization. It has been a focus on the Commanders themselves. There's been name changes from the Redskins to the Washington football team to the Commanders. And now they're possibly talking about another change of name. Once again, Josh Harris mentions, hey, in a press conference, the Redskins were once one of the most popular teams in the league based off name, based off everything, fans, whatever. Now they're not. And he wants to get them back to that glory days. And he said anything's on the table regarding a name change. So I'm interested. Hammer, what do you think the name? Do you think they change the name? Do you think they bring it back to the Washington football team? What are your thoughts?
No, definitely not Washington football team. I don't know. I mean, I don't mind the Commanders. I like the uniforms. I don't mind the Commanders. I don't know. Honestly, if I'm doing one thing to that organization and that team, I'm just rebuilding the stadium.
Yeah, that stadium
is a shit show. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
that's the first thing I'm doing. I don't even mind the name. I don't mind the Commanders. But no, I think and I like the uniforms. They got a good color scheme. I mean, red, yellow, white, black. It's clean.
It's iconic.
It's a good. It's a good scheme. Commanders, I like it. Change the stadium. That stadium is a dumpster fire.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought the stadium. Said how it's like just a shithole. Really, I mean, literally multiple times through the last 2 seasons, sewer pipes have exploded.
Yeah, it's been like breaking down,
literally falling on the people below.
Yeah, go fix that stadium before you go change the name for the third time in the last 4 years.
Yeah,
go fix that stadium.
And I feel bad. I think the first game, their first home opener, is going to be packed. I think it's going to be sold out just based off of the ownership change. But then they're going to have to experience the crappy stadium. So it's like, I mean, they'll be enjoying it, but at the same time, the stadium's falling apart. So they got to get that changed, like you said, as soon as possible. But my thoughts on the team name, one of the interesting things I've witnessed is being around the area, people were actually kind of getting used to the Washington football team. They didn't have a problem with it, which I thought, I mean, I think it's a little weird, but at the same time, it's kind of unique. It's the Commanders is just kind of it's a boring name in my opinion. I think it's a boring
Washington
name.
Football team is more boring than the Commanders.
Nah, it's unique. I think it's something that gives. I think they should.
Why is it unique? That's saying
it's interesting.
That's saying the New Orleans football team.
No, I think it rolls out. I think Washington. I think Washington. I've seen a lot of
Washington. I'm speaking. It doesn't roll off the tongue. It doesn't roll off the tongue that good.
This is something that I'm around. I'm around DC. I hear these people talking about it. So it's something that I've witnessed. That's all. I'm not.
Another reason why I don't want to come visit.
Yeah, Washington fans.
People are weird. That doesn't make any sense.
Anyways, a lot of people are talking about that, but I think a couple other running team names that were in the running to be switched to were the Red Wolves, and then I think the Red Tails or something like that.
That's stupid.
They're not.
I think the Red Tails. The Red Tails.
The Red Tails would be cool, and the
because
reason
I'm trying to think the Redskins, what do you mean by Red Tails?
So the Red Tails, I believe the story, I believe the history behind it is I'm pretty sure it's an air group or a squadron. And I think it was in one of the wars or in the Air Force, one or the other. Believe that's what it is. I can't say from top of my head.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So it's more of a historical thing. So people are interested in bringing that. And I think it's also, you can also bring back the you could say Hail to the Red Tails if you wanted to. They could bring back that kind of song. But right now it's the Commanders. They have
the Commanders.
They have a crappy jingle right now. It's we are Commanders or whatever.
Well, yeah, they got to fix the jingle in the stadium. But I don't mind the Commanders.
I think they switch it. And I think
but like you said, I don't mind Red Tails. I think what was the other one? What was it?
Red Wolves. Red Wolves was a favorite for a little while.
That sounds stupid, but that sounds like something you relocate to in Madden. That sounds stupid.
No, I agree, but that was another one of the fan favorites for a little while. That was one that was being pushed for. Commanders was out of nowhere. That wasn't something anyone was really thinking oh, we want to be the Commanders. That was randomly chosen.
I don't mind the Commanders.
And Dan Snyder got a lot of hate for it. So that's the reason why I think they switch it from the Commanders purely because it's Dan Snyder's.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think that they try to get away from that.
Yeah. But I get that.
Yeah. So I mean, it's an open book. I'm interested to see what happens.
Let's fix that stadium first. But that's going to take time. But let's start the process. And the last topic of today, news topic at least. Some big time safeties have decided that they are going to participate in training camp, meaning Budda Baker and Kevin Byard. Budda Baker wanted to be traded Doesn't want to play for the crappy Arizona Cardinals, which I understand. I think he's in a contract year. I think he might be in a contract year or something. They didn't want to pay him or something, or maybe he just wanted out. I don't know for exact. And I'm thinking about it, but he wants out, and he decided he's gonna come to training camp and play, and hopefully, work things out there. And then Kevin Byard is he reworked his contract, restructured it so it can help out the team and him and whatever. But he wasn't going to come to training camp, so both of them are back in the building. 2 Pro Bowl safeties, leaders of their team back for camp. So that's good to hear for Titans and Cardinals fans.
And I think Cardinals, I think everyone can agree that they're going to be in a rebuilding year. Yeah. Not a quote unquote rebuild, they still have the same quarterback and everything like that, but it's definitely a year where they're going to be testing who they are as a team and coming together. So I think that's good for Budda Baker. And then the Titans as well. The Titans are a team that they don't know their identity either. The Jaguars are going to be the head of that division. They're trying to come out. The last few years they had Derrick Henry carrying them. They still have Derrick Henry, but now it's really that quarterback situation. Yeah, now they have DeAndre Hopkins. They just got to figure out, is it Ryan Tannehill, Malik Willis, or Will Levis? That's their quarterback for the future. So they're going to have to figure that out, iron it out. And I think them, Kevin Byard taking that contract, just renegotiating it, whatever, figuring that out helps the team. And maybe they can bring in a couple other free agents, something like that. We'll see how that goes, and they'll find themselves as a team.
Yeah, absolutely. But so when did it come out? Maybe 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago. The new show Quarterback came out on Netflix. I've watched the first 6 episodes. I think there's 8, so I still have 2 more to go. But it's interesting. What do you think, Jenks? Have you watched it?
Yeah, so I'm on the 8th episode. I got to it, but I haven't had a chance to finish. But I love the way they did it with the 3 different levels of quarterbacks. I'd say it's not 3 just superstars, because they're going through the background of them, kind of what each of them has to go through a season. So I like the picks for quarterbacks. What are your thoughts on who they chose and how they did it?
Yeah, I like the picks, right? Patrick Mahomes, a guy who's already on the top. Kirk Cousins, a guy that he's an average QB, and then a guy in Marcus Mariota, who had a high ceiling coming into the league, was drafted number 2 overall, but then didn't work out. You know what I mean? And he's trying to fix his career. What do I think about the show? I think it's all right. Honestly, I expected a little bit more. I don't know, because for the games, they play up the games we don't know the outcomes. You know what I mean? It was the past season. We all know the outcomes. I kind of want to see more in the meeting room. I want it to be more Hard Knocks. You know what I mean? I want to see more in the meeting room, in the locker room. I don't know, in the plane flight. You know what I mean? More stuff back at home. I don't know.
Yeah,
and I kind of expected a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying with that. I get what you're saying, because it is more a lot of the game. It's a lot of the games themselves, especially for Patrick Mahomes.
And it's we know the outcome for Kirk Cousins too. You know what I mean? They're playing up the big comeback against the Colts, and it's we know what happened. They're I just the games to me, when the games come on, I just I don't have that much interest, just because I know the end result.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I definitely think that
they don't even show that much on the sideline and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just it's just NFL films.
It's kind of
I just kind of wanted to see more meeting room stuff, more practice stuff. Locker room, weightlifting.
The most interesting part,
and stuff at home too, like film study. That's what I wanted to see more of. But it's a good show, and I'm looking forward to next season, because I love NFL and I love football.
Yeah.
But it was a good show. I just expected a little bit more.
I hope that Netflix, the way they do it, Netflix relies on their kind of releasing it all at one time and letting people binge it. But I'd love if they did 1 a week during the off season, because that gives you something to look forward to every week.
That would be great.
Makes it go by a little bit faster. And I'm honestly interested. Who do you think would be your 3 picks
for
if
next
they did
year?
3 quarterbacks again? What 3 quarterbacks would you pick?
all right, if we're going like the same, like kind of way they did it, like good, medium, like great, medium,
Yeah.
kind of, I'm going Joe Burrow.
Okay.
I'm going for young QB. For young QB, I wouldn't mind like Daniel Jones and like Marcus Mariota spot. Daniel Jones, Joe Burrow in Mahomes' position, and Kirk Cousins' position, like, trying to think on the spot. I don't know. You go. Let me think.
Yeah, gotcha. So off the top of my head, I'm gonna go Josh Allen, and hear me out for this number 2. I think it's a great fit, like Derek
Derek Carr.
Cousins. I am gonna say Derek Carr.
Oh my God,
it makes sense. Like you gotta, and hear me out. It's something that he's thought of like as the average quarterback, and he hasn't had much. Like he's kind of in the middle of the pack. That's what Kirk Cousins is as well. And he's coming out to this new team. I think it's an interesting thing, like coming to get to this new team, seeing how he adapts, all of that kind of stuff. Also with Dennis Allen again, like it gives him something to talk about. And I also think it's pretty much the same as Kirk Cousins. Like it's a similar situation. He has to prove himself, because if he doesn't, then like, it's kind of like a failure for the Saints and Derek Carr. So it's kind of that prove it mentality, like it was for Kirk Cousins last year. And then third place, I had Jordan Love.
Jordan Love. They're not doing that. Jordan Love.
Hear me out. Jordan Love, young quarterback. It's his prove it year as well. If he doesn't do well, this is kind of like the season.
He's got 2 years. He's got 2 years.
Okay, so then they could do it.
They gave him a contract.
Year.
I think
next year
I've seen Jordan Love a lot, and like that would be cool. And I mean, a lot of people like do Aaron Rodgers too. Aaron wouldn't allow that crap, but like Jordan Love would be cool. You know what I mean? Like absolutely, like his experience sitting 3 years, and now he's taken over an organization like the Packers. Like it's a big deal and everything, and how he's gonna do. But keep in mind, he's on they just extended him another year. So this is like a 2-year kind of tryout for the Packers.
Yeah.
And I don't think they would want to do it. I don't think he would let them do it. Like be behind the scenes, be with him through his first NFL season. Like that's too much.
Then they could do
maybe season 3. Season 3 do Jordan Love. But like I don't think you pick a QB that young. Like Marcus isn't even young. He was drafted in 2015. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He's just like bouncing around a little bit. But like Jordan Love would be a good pick, but I think it's too early in his career. But I know what you mean. I get it.
A couple other guys. This would be like their rookie years. They could do like Bryce. I mean, they could do Bryce Young or CJ Stroud or something like that to appeal to like seeing a rookie come alive in the NFL, something like that. And I mean, if you really want to truly like a Marcus Mariota type situation, I think you pick someone on like the Titans, like you pick a guy that's a backup or Trey Lance, something like that.
Who cares about Tannehill?
That has a
because we don't even know if Trey Lance is going to play. I think I like – who did I say? I said Burrow. Who's my last guy again?
You didn't have a last guy.
Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is my last guy.
You needed a middle guy.
Right? Because Daniel Jones is kind of like he's a younger guy, but he's been in the league a couple of years. Like he's been starting a couple of years.
I mean,
I think Daniel Jones would be really cool in New York and everything with the Saquon thing going around, and it's really his team right now. And then my middle guy, I'm gonna go Dak Prescott. I think Dak would be really cool because he's the same thing as Kirk Cousins. He's a good QB. He is. Like say we want. I hate Kirk Cousins. He's a good QB. He in the big moments, he kind of
crumbles. No, 100%.
Yeah, he crumbles. But I think, and a big organization and team like the Cowboys and Dallas and all that. Like I think that would be a cool dynamic. So I think Burrow, Dak, and Daniel Jones, and one more that I throw out there. If not Dak, who would be pretty good? Tua. Tua would be good just to see kind of like. Maybe like see how he, goes about practice and film and everything with his head. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like stuff like that. And especially like the Dolphins team, like Waddle and Tyreek Hill. I feel like that it's cool like environment. And it's Miami.
And I honestly think like the Marcus Mariota situation played out so well for the quarterback show that it's like such a unique situation. Like you're not going to have that every year where like a guy gets benched basically and then like is injured and just leaves the team. Like that's such a unique thing. But I think like they could possibly switch it to like an archetype guy, like a rookie or something coming into the league and making his way through it. Cause that could be
that's
like
too much. I know. I know what you're saying.
I agree.
Maybe like a year, maybe like a year 2 or 3 guy. But I feel like that's too much stuff on a rookie.
With someone young coming into the league and trying to prove themselves, because
like I saw another guy they said that would be cool for like that tier 3 spot is like Kenny Pickett. Like that would be cool.
That's a good pick.
What I mean?
I didn't even think about him. That's a good one. I actually like that for the 3rd pick because
Kenny
it's kind of like he has to prove himself this year. Like he started doing well at the end of the season. Steelers fans are kind of relying on him. Like Steelers fans believe in him, and it's up to him to prove it next year. So I think that's a great pick, actually.
Yeah. So final three QBs you want to see season 2 go?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay with Josh Allen, Derek Carr, and then I like Kenny Pickett. I think that's a great one. I think that's a great pick.
And I'm gonna go Burrow, Dak, and Daniel Jones.
Yeah, no, I think Daniel Jones is a good pick as well. I like it.
So yeah,
we'll see.
All right, that's going to do it for today's episode. But last off, new tradition starting right now. At the end of every video, we're going to go back and forth. So this is my week. We're going to do a trivia question, right? So Jenks is going to have 20 seconds to answer this trivia question. Every trivia question is going to be in the 2000s, 2010s, early 2000s, 20s. You know what I mean? Just me and Jenks' era of football, what we grew up to. So trivia question. You got 20 seconds to solve it. All right. Viewers, play along too. Comment below if you got it. Here we go. Possibly the biggest surprise of week 1 of the 2015 NFL season was the success that a new quarterback had. Which rookie quarterback threw for 209 yards, 4 touchdowns, and in just 16 attempts in a week 1 route during his team won 42-14.
Jesus. I'm trying to think. I mean, 2014 was Derek Carr. It was after Derek Carr's year. I'm trying to think of like rookie running backs that came in during that year.
Rookie QBs.
Dude, I don't even know.
2015.
Would be no, it can't be. Deshaun Watson was after that, right?
5.
Yeah, 4, no, I'm not gonna get it. What is it? Who is
3,
it?
2.
I'm thinking Deshaun Watson.
2015. Come on.
Yeah, you gotta tell me. I have no.
Marcus Mariota.
Wow, he's that old. I didn't realize.
Yeah, I know.
Old.
2015 was when Jameis was drafted 1, Mariota was drafted 2, and Jameis had a bad week 1. He threw his first pass ever. He threw a pick 6, and Mariota had like an awesome game.
Yeah, I didn't realize. I mean, I remember in 2017 is when he went to the playoffs with them for the first. I think he took them to the playoffs.
Yeah, Mariota.
They played like the Chiefs. I remember watching that game, but I forgot he was.
Mariota had like a good like rookie year.
Yeah.
Like I remember he had this one highlight of like this long touchdown run against the Jaguars. Like he had a good rookie year.
I mean,
but 4 touchdowns in his week 1 debut.
We were like 12.
Rookie debut.
We were only 12 years old when that happened. I can't even. Yeah, it's wild.
What?
We were 12. 2015.
What are you talking about?
Dude, I was only 12 in that season. That's what I'm saying. Like that's wild.
Yeah. I was 13.
Yeah, I don't even. I'm trying to think about the 2015. I mean, that was when the Saints were kind of in our. We were in
7th grade.
Yeah, I mean, Saints were in our crappy defense era of Drew Brees carrying.
Is the year after the Packers lost the NFC Championship game against the Seahawks.
Yeah, it was a rough time.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're gonna move on from the trivia question. Hopefully, you guys were able to get that because I had no clue.
Jenks is gonna have one for me next week. You better have.
Yeah, we'll try to. We'll tally him up. We'll tally him up who gets what, and we'll tally him out through the season. Mm-hmm. Anyways, movie Monday review real quick. There's a huge drop this week. Barbenheimer. That's what everyone's calling it. I went and saw Barbie by myself, middle of the movie theater.
That's sad. No,
it ended up being sad with how terrible the movie. Anyways, I go in there all dressed in all black. Everyone's like wearing pink and everything. I'm just kind of sitting there planted in the middle. And the movie started off great. It starts off like a cheesy kind of Barbie. Like I expected it. Like it was advertised. It was just a stupid comedy. Ryan Gosling's great. Margot Robbie was great. And then they go to the real world. Everything changes. They start talking about the patriarchy, everything like that. And I'm not upset that they had that kind of stuff in it. but it was the amount like that it was pushed into your face that it was made it a little bit rough. And the patriarchy, then they had all like it turned out not to be just kind of like a
fun,
playful,
stupid movie.
Yeah, stupid movie. I mean, and I don't mind that. Like that's a lot of people will love that movie for that reason. But like I was going in because I love dumb comedies, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. And I mean, Ryan Gosling had that throughout the whole movie, the dumb comedy. He was great with that.
Yeah.
Michael Cera was in it, great. But it ended up just being underwhelming. And I mean, I think a lot of guys will feel that way just because of how it was written. But I mean, it's definitely a good movie to a lot of people. So I respect anyone who thinks it was a great movie.
Yeah. So I went with my little sister. I took my little sister and we went. Yeah, it was just, I was expecting something else, got something else. But Ryan Gosling was hilarious in it. And I think I'm going to go see Oppenheimer this week when I get a chance. So
I'm hyped for that movie.
Alone. I can't take my little sister to go see that. It's like, yeah. So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So just a reminder, Fantasy Football League, if you want to be a part of it, make sure you subscribe, comment after you watch this video, that you want to be in it so we can get in touch. We can set that up. We want to do 12-man leagues, PPR, do as many leagues as, whoever wants to join. Winner gets a jersey, helmet of their choice, whatever you guys want on Jenks and I. It's not too expensive because, yeah.
We're two college kids. We're not rich.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah. Anything else? Closing thoughts, Jenks? And hey, this is next time we see you guys, we'll be start a training camp. So it's coming quickly, and training camp, and then preseason, and then it's gonna be week 1. So we're pumped up.
Yeah, it's coming in. It's coming in fast. I don't have any other comments. Really, just comment down below. Remember to subscribe, and we'll try to get better content every single week for you guys. So we're excited.
Yep. So make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Jenks Hammer Pod. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube at Jenks and the Hammer Podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Have a good week. Dominate, crush it, and everything you guys do. And we'll see you guys next Monday.
Let's do it. Training camp time.
Thank you for tuning in to the Jenks and the Hammer Podcast. Remember to leave a review and follow all of our social media pages at Jenks Hammer Pod for more content. Until next time, who dat and go Pack Go!